There's a lot that goes into making the scenery, more than one might believe. Here is a road with some barrier stones. Stones are relatively easy. I just put them in, put a drop of glue on them, and probably have to glue them 3-4 times. I don't have any of the stones handy at the moment to put them in. I'm working on this area here and on the other side of this cliff. We purchased these shacks, 2 of them were $12. Little dirt road that comes up here, move that out of your way. I'll be putting turf on the other side of it. And as you can see over here, if you can pan over here, I have all, why don't you lift it up? I have all different types of grass and turf and stones and my 50-50 glue mixture. So we'll start with the 50-50 glue mixture. And this is a simple thing. I'm just going to put some grass down here. This is on pink insulation styrofoam that we have hot wired. Mark has done most of the hot wiring work, I'd say 90% of it. And of course Mark builds all the mountains areas. I do the scenery. And then I decide what colors I want. Here's some green. Your basic grass green. But in case you've taken a look at a lawn recently, nothing is purely green. So we add a little burnt grass, darker brown. Possibly a touch of yellow, not much. I don't use this too much. And maybe a patch of dirt. Now this doesn't always cover completely. If you can take a look over here, you can see where I did some work a couple of days ago. It didn't hide completely. I'll go back over to that area. And again, use a little green. Use a little brown. Now there are certain areas where there are things you have to hide. For example, if there are several layers of styrofoam, you might have a gap between them, in which case this fine turf is not going to cover it. In cases like that, let's just assume that this slash is something that we want to hide and that it won't be covered by the turf. I then go to the same coarse material that I use for making the trees, and I put it down on the glue. It'll hide any imperfection underneath it. Put some glue on top of it. It'll soak in and hold it in place. And yes, this is time consuming. I can get about, maybe 6 square inches an hour. Around the edges, I put a little bit of grass. Now over here, can you see this with the camera? Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to put some stones as if they've tumbled down from the top. Again, it all starts with a mixture of the glue. Here are the stones. Again, Woodland Scenic sells this, as does other companies. I prefer the Woodland Scenic only because it's so readily available and comes in large, different sizes. This one is good for, this fine is good for N-scale. And now I'm using some dirt. Again, many companies make this, and I have several different colors of dirt which I might use around it. And I sometimes lose track of where I got it in and put the excess back in the wrong place. Let's do a little more dirt here. And then a touch more of the grass. They come in shaker bottles, and in fact they charge extra if you want shaker bottles. You can buy them separately. But I prefer the pinch method, obviously. Put a little grass in over the dirt. And that's basically how it goes. Now, I have clumps. You might see in here clumps of vegetation. And that's, again, this is made by several different companies. This one is by, guess who? Woodland Scenic. I just put it in the glue like that. Get it very, very gluey. And throw it in place where I want it. So in this particular area, the slope might be too steep to hold the ground cover, so I put the vegetation in and the ground cover can butt up against it. And just like before, it comes in several colors. Use a greener green now rather than the olive green. And it's always good to have paper towels around. Glue will get onto the tracks on occasion. Get it up quickly with the paper towel, and glue gets all over your hand. I think that's about, oh, here's another, this is wood, burnt wood. As you can see down here, I have some burnt wood and some logs. Mark might eventually paint these. Mark does most of the painting. And I also have some purple loosestrife. I don't have any of that handy at the moment. And I have some reeds here. Now, the reeds come like this. And I take out a strip. Smooth off the end. Even off the end. Turn it upside down like that. Cut a small piece. Dip it into the glue. And put it in place. This one's going to have to be, once it's dry, I'm going to have to cut that. It's a little bit too long. That'd be about 15 feet tall. I'll make a shorter one here. And again, this comes in 3 different colors. One more. All right, that's it.